Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this podcast today. Today is a very valuable podcast for the entire world, and I'm excited to introduce you to a very heart-centered, loving individual, Mark Miller. And let me tell you just a little bit about Mark. Mark grew up with 10 siblings and understands what it's like to, have good resources, and he's also been in the ministry for many, many years in the nonprofit world. And he's traveled abroad. He's seen some of the challenges that have happened. And he has a heart, not only for individuals, but primarily for something amazing to all of us, something life-giving to all of us, and that is water. So I'm going to ask him some questions and let him introduce to you an amazing resource that can literally be life-saving. Mark is dedicated to helping health-conscious individuals to ensure that they have clean, healthy water. And he'll tell you a little bit more about that. He is the owner of Safer, Cleaner Water, and he's on a mission to help raise awareness around the importance of safe, clean water around the entire world. So let me introduce you to Mark Miller, and we'll find out how in the world he got to this particular space in his life. So thank you, Mark, for being with us.
Well, thank you, BJ. Glad we're here and enjoy the time together. And as far as the what brought us to this place,
Yeah.
you shared some of it with the background with my childhood and things there, and then the 33 years serving on a board of directors of a nonprofit entity, and then just about 2.5 years ago, where it all began to come together. I was in a missionary service where a missionary from Central America was sharing about the challenges in the countries like what she was serving in related to bad water and the effect that it has. And bottom line, one of the things that she said that the number one reason children die in these foreign countries is because of bad water.
Mm.
So as I was sitting there listening to that, they said what they did, they had a filtration type system. You don't have to have electricity, and they could go to that village and they could show them how to give pure water, clean water to their children, and now they live longer and are in fact this is a BJ, this is something that really surprised me is some in some countries they do not name their child until they're 3 months old because they're not sure they will live long enough. And I thought, my, that's something that, and then to hear the messages as far as how when you do give them water, that it's the number one thing that makes a difference in their life. And as I was sitting in that service, I listen well, BJ, but I also have my mind that just started saying, this is something I live in a nation that has over 300 million people. What would happen if there was no electricity for 3 to 5 days? What would we do? How many people are prepared for that? And my mind said hardly any. This was like 2.5 years ago. So I started a journey saying, okay, what's the reason and what can be done about it? And bottom line, there's three things we have to have. 3 minutes without air, we have a challenge. 3 days without water, we have a major challenge. 30 days without food, we have a major challenge. But I can't help you with the air. But but when it comes to the water, you have to have that before you get to the food, and you have to have it right away. And if it's not pure, then that's a challenge as well. So as I worked on it for a little while, um, I realized two, three things. One, well, first of all, I asked some people, what would you do if the electricity went out for a few days? What would you do to get water? And their answer was, well, more than once, and it surprised me. Well, I would try to get to the supermarket before somebody else and try to get water for me and my family. And that's what I would do. That's what they would say. So a few months after that, a few months ago, I drove into my town 20 minutes from where I live, where the supermarket is. I wanted to stop at the supermarket before my appointment. So I pulled into the parking lot. The electricity was out in the town. Of course, it was dark, but there was a sign on the door that said closed due to power outage. So, BJ, how many people would get any water? First of all, they can't take your money and they wouldn't let you in as well. And
Yeah.
that's the kind of a selfish way to do it, I guess. But anyway, that's your psychological mindset a lot of times. How can I
Right.
help myself? So that took me to the point of saying, now there's a way to describe and explain why it's so important. So from that point, I started putting things together, and what I found out, most water filtration systems are similar to what I would refer to as a printer, and why they sell you a printer. They sell you a printer because they know that you'll have to buy ink from them the rest of your life. That, that's also very similar to what happens with a water filtration system. What they want is to get that in your hands to where not only you have them, you have it, but now you have to buy a filter from them for every few months or whatever. Well, after that, I was sitting and that somebody suggested to me, why don't you write down the differences between what you have and what's on the market? And I sat down for about an hour and a half one day, and there was like, just using 4 or 5 different systems. I asked myself, do you want to confuse people? You start looking at all that doesn't make any difference. It's not a matter what it doesn't do or what it does do. What matters is what does mine do that's different from others. That is the most important things. So that was a basis point that came out of that process that I just described. And
Right.
I began to, right, and then that's so obvious. Some of the things that seem complicated are simple when you work through it and get to the bottom line. And that's what's the beauty of what happened with this, because at that point, what I found is there's 3 things I wanted to do in what I wanted to offer. Number one, I wanted to offer a filter that had quality, and the filter that we have is from a 40-year-old U.S. company that has over 1 million of these out across the world, with over 28 million people benefiting from it. But very few of them have been purchased in the United States. And so they have that filter that's available to us as well, and it has a lifetime guarantee on it. So that's one thing. The second thing is the filter is designed where you never have to buy another filter, because the water that goes through the system comes out 100% pure. All you have to do is reverse the filter and backflow with the pure water, and it now is restored and ready to go again. So it hasn't it hasn't taken more or less of the impurity out. But when you know to do that, depending on the water, is when it starts to slow down just a little bit. It's a gravity flow. So then it's the time to do it. But it doesn't change it all of the time. It's 100% pure water that's coming through. So that's what we have. That's the second thing, no filter for life because of that. And then the third thing, what if you could not only take care of yourself, but what if you could help others as well? So it's not only you that's going to be thirsty, but it's your family and there's others. In fact, one of the first filtration systems we that was purchased, the man lives, him and his wife live in a subdivision, and I said, you could literally furnish your whole subdivision with pure water in an emergency every day, because it will do up to 150-gallon water per day, which means you could help up to 300 people, half gallon each, to have pure water every day, no matter how long the emergency lasts. And since it has a lifetime guarantee, you don't just have to use it for emergencies, you can use it for any time you want to as well. So those 3 things are the difference. A water filtration with a lifetime guarantee, no filter has to be purchased, and you can help up to 300 other people. That's what we have, and that's what it does. And then we also have a nonprofit, and I want to share a little bit about that. But one of the reasons we can do what we're doing with what I just described is because we do have a nonprofit, because with the way it's structured, we now have the ability to get the filter. We also get the adapter kit, which is only available from them to nonprofit entities. So we are actually able to give it to the others as well. And the 5-gallon container, and the shipping is included. And on our safercleanerwater.com, what we have is where you can literally, in the 48 contiguous states, you can actually get the everything I described, including shipping, for $99, one-time purchase.
Nice.
And whenever you receive it, it takes 7 to 14 days for it to come to your home. Whenever you receive it, within 5 minutes of the time you receive it, you're ready to have pure water for the rest of your life for you and up to 300 other people. So
Very cool.
thank you. And again, I want to I want to now share a little bit about our nonprofit because it's so applicable with what we're talking about. Who would be the ones that are having the greatest challenge in a time like this? All of us will, but if you're not prepared in any way, or you're actually a homeless person, or in a recovery center, or some other shelter, food shelter, etc., there's all kinds of people there that have no way but whatever they're receiving from those that serve them. So in my nonprofit, we have it to where we're now looking for those that want to give grants and donations to our nonprofit, where we can actually, for every $100, what we want to do is take a filtration system, complete filtration system, and ship it to those entities that serve those that are in need
Nice.
and donate it to that entity. So now,
Nice.
using that strategy, what happens when we actually have enough money to have 1,000 of those filters that we can donate, and each of them serve up to 300 people in any time they need it. That's 300,000 people that have been served in a very short period of time by just a small donation from someone that understands the mission. And what we find, BJ, as people recognize that and look at that, they say, that does make sense. But one of the things that we are apt to do without thinking of others, we actually don't feel the emotion that we should feel about the fact that we need this water filtration system. And what happens, and I have people that say, "Yeah, I think it's good, and I probably should get one sometime." A lot of those people will have a four words that they will have to say, "I wish I had,"
Mm,
because they'll wait until the emergency. So we don't want that to happen. So now when people understand and look at what we're doing for others and how we're serving others, there's something that says, I want to help them. And then we're noticing at the end, they say, I need one for myself.
good.
I need one for my children. Why haven't I done this yet?
Nice. Nice. Okay. It sounds like a wonderful, life-giving, water-giving
Right.
tool. So I have one quick question that runs through my brain.
Okay.
If someone is reliant on electricity for the pumps to get water out of their faucets, they
Mhm.
have this tool and it works on gravity. Where do they get the water to put in it?
Okay. Okay. You can draw it from any type stream or any rainwater, spring water, any place there's water. It will not do salt water like ocean water, but any other source. So what many people do is if they don't have anything like I just described, which most people do within a reasonable distance or know somebody, where there's a pond, a lake, or whatever. But if not, what we do and what we recommend others do, we take we take 30, 40, 50 gallon in gallon jugs and put it in our storage. Some, when they know there's one coming, they fill their bathtub, etc. So there's different ways to actually, when you have it on more on top of your mind, you think more what to do, where would I go, and etc. But that's what they have to just find that. And this takes out everything in the water that would make you sick, all the bacteria and all of the parasites, etc. And 100% of the microplastics are removed.
Nice.
And
Yeah,
that is so huge. Yes.
I encourage you all to go to cleanersaferwater.com because there's a video there and see the video. They have someone who takes actual, what looks like pretty dirty stream water and run it through this system and it comes out crystal clear. So if you live in an area where the water is not crystal clear, or you know that you're reliant on electric pump for your water, I highly encourage you jump over to the website and I will leave all of Mark's links in the comments underneath our video so that you do not miss anything. And check this out. Think about this. That's a very small donation to help an entity that might need it to serve the people that are less fortunate that are in their area. And of course, like Mark said, make sure you get one for yourself.
Right.
So, Mark, what else would you like to share with us?
Well, when someone contacts us at info@safercleanerwater.com, we will send them It's not a large thing, but Guide to Pure Water for Life, and answer any questions they would have as well, and make sure that they can do that. Also, you on the you will have the availability to be able to donate if you so desire. There will be a link to where you can donate. It could be a small amount, monthly amount, one time, or say I want to purchase one every $100. Like I said, creates one for one institution that's serving the needy. So, 10 of those or one of those, etc. But the link will be on there for that as well.
Wonderful. Okay. And you can also reach Mark if you want to just write to him or connect with him at mark@safercleanerwater.com. So please feel free to reach out. I encourage you all to go check this out. What a life-giving resource from a very heart-centered entrepreneur who is out there to make a difference in the world. So thank you so much, Mark. I really appreciate you being on, and I'm looking forward to letting everybody connect with you.
Thank you, BJ. Appreciate it and enjoyed it very much.
All right. Stay tuned, everybody. We will have another podcast coming up. We'll see you on that one. Bye-bye now.